Hi there. My name is Dale Porter, and I'm a realtor in the Triad area of North Carolina. And as many of you other folks that are out there are realtors as well. Some of you aren't. Some of you are buyers or sellers in real estate or people who have not bought or sold real estate. What I'm going to be talking to you about today is important to everyone. Right now, in the United States of America, there is a tendency toward government and the courts, and I'm talking on both sides. I'm not looking at the left and putting a finger in their face or the right and putting a finger in their face. That's not what I'm doing. I'm putting both fingers in both their faces. Right now, there are factors in our government that are, on one hand, not fighting for American rights hard enough, and on the other hand, a faction of government that is involved in the process of systematically changing fundamentally what has been an American endeavor to attain the American dream. The recent NAR settlement on real estate has imposed some measures that right now on their face are not currently achieving what the general consensus among realtors is of stifling real estate sales. Right now in the United States, interest rates are up from where they were a few years ago, while some would argue that traditionally those rates are really in the level that they need to be at right now as a point of uh, interest. You could get great rates of 10, 11%, 15% was the average in the mid 1980s. So when you're looking at 6% in those situations, 6% is a lot better than you would think uh, traditionally. However, that isn't being helped by a very low amount of homes that are on the market. This supply creates its own demand, Keynesian economics. If we have a low amount of homes, the price will rise. So that is something that's not going to change. You're going to have homes being built in great numbers for that to tip the scale. So what are we going to do? What do we do in a situation when the NAR settlement has imposed some changes and some potentially negative um, aspects to real estate? Well, you do what you always do in business. In business, you can't look around and say, oh, woe is me, it's a pity party. If you do, you might as well just close your business and get back into working where they pay you an hourly salary. You'll never make more, but you'll never have to worry about a thing. They'll take good care of you, paying you as little as they can possibly get away with. Now, if you want to run your business and look at this from a standpoint of how to better explain what's going on to listing clients and to buyer clients, it is the fact that you need to let your listing clients know that there are just so many pieces of pie in the equation. Interest rates are up right now. I've explained that interest rates are up from over a few years ago. The lack of houses on the market create an increase in the pricing for the ones that are on the market. So when you put those two together, how could in any estimation increasing a buyer's cash requirement by paying to buy the house, it is, and I hate to use this term, it is bass backwards thinking. This is the kind of thinking that folks would uh, uh, equate with communism. I mean, there's no other way to to put this into context. When you're looking at trying to have a seller put his home on the market, ask the buyer to pay top dollar, but you don't want them to be represented, which is where it's heading, because realtors won't work for free. And until some people start losing their shirts on homes they shouldn't have bought, it's going to just be the price of doing business. I personally have made the decision. My life is too short, and working with folks that are lacking in understanding of just basic math. If I get a listing client that wants to shift 100% of, or any, I've made it a complete or any. If a listing client wants to shift the cost to a buyer, I'm not going to work with that client. They're unreasonable. They're going to want top dollar for their property, but they're not going to entice any other realtors to bring their client to you in the form of compensation. Instead, they would rely on you, the realtor, bringing that client to tell your client, if you want to have representation in this home, which means helping you decide if this home is worth buying. Evaluations. Average person doesn't evaluate properties, does not know how to evaluate a property. I was a contractor for 22 years. I worked with State Farm Insurance, Liberty Mutual Insurance, and Bankers Life Insurance for about 7 years prior to becoming a realtor. I have evaluated homes for estimations on work. I have evaluated homes for estimations on values for compensation, should the home need to be replacement cost values, how to build that home from scratch in today's market. And let me tell you, you can get a home that looks good in pictures. They all look good in pictures, but is that home actually a home that you want to live in? What is hidden? I recently had a home that was a beautiful home. The seller did a great job. I really admire what they did to the home on the interior of the home, the exterior of the home, and to the yard. They did a great job in all those areas. What they did when they flipped this home is they forgot the structure underneath, the structure in the attic, and there was mildew in both. There was also a cracked septic tank. Mildew in the crawl space, mildew in the attic. And what if you weren't represented? What if my client that was buying that home had not have had a representative that would have helped them through the inspection process with how to find those very, very important items? Could you imagine buying a home that's $500,000, finding out later that you are in a mildew infestation and with a broke septic tank stuck inside of that purchase? My boss said it best. Transparency. Transparency is the key to basically having a situation where you're going to make the process better. What this new NAR settlement has done is simply make it more difficult for buyers. So as a realtor, my take is to still have the fiduciary responsibility for my what are now current customers and will be clients in the future, but I'm going to fight for them. And in turn, this will also be a way for me to help my seller. As a realtor, my duty is to inform, it's to let everyone know without a shadow of a doubt what is involved in the purchase of this home. And that would be the seller and the buyer. And I have practiced dual agency, which I Some of you know that means representing both buyer and seller. But in a case like that, transparency, full disclosure is key. What we have now is the lack of that. But again, this video isn't to talk about how the NAR let us down. It's about living within the means that you've been given, living within the parameters, the playing field, the cards you were dealt, however you want to put it. We as realtors have to live in the now. So what I've decided to do is be positive. When I speak to a listing client, I'll tell him, sir, you really want to get best price for your home, you can't expect the seller to pay the fees that it costs to do business. Getting those other realtors on the market to look at this home and bring buyers is the cost of doing business. You're not saving yourself anything. If you want to do that, why don't you just go for sale by owner? And if I find a buyer, I'll bring them and then ask you after you've sat there a while, not selling your property. You've got onesie, twosie people coming. Do you as a seller want to get the lowest price? No, you want the best price. You're not going to get that trying to shyster the other side right up front. And I'm going to put it in those perspectives, because if you are that unreasonable as a listing client right off the bat, you're going to be hell on wheels. And I'm not going to deal with that. I don't need that. I'm blessed with having been smart. I don't have huge amounts of debt. I am not going to acquire huge amounts of debt. And I am going to work for both buyer and seller so that their common sense trumps their greed. So in a case like this, what I would say to anyone watching this stream, and right now there's no one watching the stream, but I'm just practicing. And when you practice, it makes perfect. And I can keep my train of thought very well. There's rain in Spain and it falls mainly on the plains. So that's what I do if I get bored. Just say something like that. I listen to Alec Baldwin do his show, and I'm doing better than him already. I can probably do better than Alec Baldwin every show for clips. That'll be my bar. I'll call it the Alec Baldwin bar. If I can beat the Alec Baldwin talk show bar, then I'm doing good. So if you are listening, give me a chat. Somebody talk to me. I know that there's nobody listening. That's okay. It is one of those things, though. We do need to start thinking about how to be positive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell my company story, because as every realtor, you are the owner of your own company. And my company story is going to give the insight to why they should do business with me. It's going to give them the understanding of how I will work for them, what my passion level is. That I'm the kind of guy that likes to have a fun time. That, yeah, I may smile and laugh with you, but that's going to be the atmosphere that creates positive. I'm not negative to the NAR settlement because it's just a thing. It'll be something else tomorrow. It'll be something else the day after that. And what made me very happy was when I realized that I determine my mindset, my attitude, where I go with things. The NAR is going to knock a lot of realtors right out of the game. Oh, well, that means that when I call listings, I'm going to have a better opportunity at contacting those listings who aren't now mad at having a couple of buffoons contact them and drop the ball. So I'm really excited about that. And when you think about what you have to bring to the table, I bring commitment. I have no off button when it comes to working for my client. And when I know that my client needs someone to really get in there and roll their sleeves up and help them get it done. Say a new homeowner, or say someone retiring on a budget and they need to make the money they have last. When I can buy the home under, or I can save that new homeowner from making a huge mistake, excuse me. If I can stop that huge mistake from happening, I prove my worth. I prove my value. When the job gets done and done right, and when closing is over and the keys go into the client's hands, I've proved my worth. I've proved my value. When I lead my firm in listings, when I close deals on properties that other realtors have had and couldn't do it, when I develop a relationship with a client, those are long-term commitments, just like this business that we're in, real estate. A long-term commitment to business means that you're willing to take the steps that you need to take, make the changes you need to make, be the realtor that you started out wanting to be. I'm sure everybody here was going to sell 100 houses. Well, I thought I would sell 40. I haven't hit that yet, not in a year. I am a 25 a year rep, and I have sold millions per year consecutively. So milestones are one thing, but really working with your clients and having the ones that you do get the pleasure of working with, getting them through to the finish line and doing it in a way where you know that you earned your money. When I thank God for that. I thank God for the ability to get out there and help people. A good realtor is a servant leader. Everything that I tell my clients, and I've been fired from a client for telling them the honest truth. That was sad. I had to literally sleep it off. It affected me that bad. This is a person that is my friend, someone that I have a lot of respect for, but I had to pray to forgive them for what they did. I tried to give them the gift of knowledge, and instead of being happy to get it, they were upset and they did the proverbial kill the messenger. Well, when you are an honest and straightforward person, you run the risk. You run the risk of having someone get upset with you. Well, I think that'll be the end of this. And thank you for listening to this. Positive is so much better